Hey, good afternoon, all, and welcome to another edition of the Sal Greco Show, and I'm your host, Sal Greco. Thank you all for tuning in. I see you, 1804 Banks. You're always here. 92 Charlie, Terry Murnane, Frankie Palaguacci, also Hard X Core, Matt O'Brien, Hassan, for you, just for you, Hassan Mo. Look what he sent me. This is espresso straight from Milan. It's nice to know you have supporters like this that send you stuff just because they know I love espresso. So this is from Milan. It's Cafe Monticello, made in Italy. Thank you very much, Hassan. Of course, Hassan Mo is a huge supporter of the entire network. So shout out to you, Hassan. Thank you very much for that. I see you, Lone Silencer. Thank you all for tuning in. If you can, please hit that like, share, subscribe button on YouTube, where we over 51,000 subscribers now. It's really, I can't say enough about that. Thank you for subscribing. Like I said, we have more than double the subscribers of WABC Radio, and we'll be getting to them in a little bit. If you're watching on Rumble, please hit that like button, hit the Rumble button. And if you're watching on X right now, streaming live all over the world, please hit that like button and also repost this and share this out to all your friends, especially those in that low information bubble. Look at that. This is it right here. We have almost 52,000. It was up to 50,000 on Monday night. So this is just moving along. So I'd like to thank everyone. This is it's a monumental achievement because, what did we start with? I guess we were, as one person put, a former disgraced chief of department and his cronies. He said that this was a small podcast nobody listens to. In fact, someone in the room says that, but how are we double WABC Radio that claims to be the number one rated thing in New York City? And, they're all over the world and simulcasted everywhere. But a lot to ask questions there about that. But, I'm just saying I'm very excited and happy about that. So thank you very much for everyone for, subscribing. And it really, it means a lot to all of us because there's a lot of hard work, put into this, and it's not like we're saying, we're not here, we're not like being sponsored by Coca-Cola and all these big companies. I mean, we don't even have a sponsor, I think. So, but we're free to talk to anyone if you wanna come and advertise and sponsor with us. We're here to talk. So, but thank you all for that. Also, as you know, I have a thing. It's called Freedom Cart. I'm just going to show you something, myfreedomcart.com/Sal Greco Show. There you have it. It's, the holidays are coming, and where you buy your holiday gifts today affects your election results, coming up this November. And you need to support a company that's American-made products, and also they support law enforcement. I could tell you this company definitely backs the blue because they send money to precincts all over the United States. And I'm going to show you a product like this. Like this is it's called Revive. It's a fabric freshener and wrinkle relaxer. All right. And it's 16 ounces or so. Here, you see this? And it also comes with, it's a bottle too. So you could, put it in this bottle. Comes with the top. I didn't want to drag everything out, but they have products just like this. And I'm saying, why go to Publix or, whatever it is in your area? You bring in your 3 kids, your 2 kids are jumping all around and spend 40 minutes. You got to put everything in the cart, put it in your car, take it out of the cart. myfreedomcart.com/Sal Greco Show. You could sign up. You could join. You could join a movement. Just shop from your home. It's much easier. And all these products come to your home, and you don't have to worry about shopping and worrying about your kids running around and you forgot this and you got to go back to the store and take this out of the cart and do the 3. It's like doing an exercise, Just go to the gym if you want to exercise. It's just too much work doing that. So myfreedomcart.com/Sal Greco Show. And also Free Spoke. Remember, if you're going on the internet, why put in your search engines that are biased when you could do it on Free Spoke? So let's hear from Free Spoke. I know you surf the internet and you search for things on a search engine and you don't get what you're looking for. Well, I have a solution for you, and that's Free Spoke. Free Spoke is a search engine that does everything without all the restrictions and all the censorship, and there's no porn ads. Free Spoke is about authenticity rather than agendas. Labels media bias. No intrusions or data leaks. No porn ads, like I said. Unlimited, unbiased AI. Also, deep dive podcasting. You can look it up. Go to freespoke.app.link/Greco. Download the app. You could also use the same link to get 35% off the premium subscription, which would be well worth it. Try it out. freespoke.app.link/Greco. There you have it, folks. Greco 35, get 35% off that subscription. Like I said, Free Spoke is constantly giving me updates on world news, and I wouldn't get it if I was following these mainstream or big time platforms that are supposed to be huge search engines. You know, they're quick to show you something that's not what you want to see, and slanted, meaning these weird left wing, like there's some websites out there you're like really like peddling conspiracy theories, but hey, that's why you got to get Free Spoke. Greco 35, get 35% subscription off it. And by the way, it does have AI. It could transcribe for you just like ChatGPT. So, you actually would save and spend less money a month if you had that versus ChatGPT. So check it out. So now, without any further ado, there's been a lot going on. See this right here? Zohran Mamdani says White House meeting with President Trump will highlight affordability concerns. I think he just spoke about this about an hour ago or so. So let's cue up this video. Here he is, the mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani. Let's see what he has to say.
I will be heading to Washington, D.C. tomorrow to meet with President Trump in the White House. It is customary for an incoming mayor of this city to meet with the White House, given the mutual reliance. It's more critical than ever, given the national crisis of affordability, one that New Yorkers know very well across these 5 boroughs, and the specific challenge many cities are facing with balancing public safety against steps taken by this administration. I know that for tens of thousands of New Yorkers, this meeting is between 2 very different candidates who they voted for the same reason. They wanted a leader who would take on the cost of living crisis that makes it impossible for working people to afford living in this city. My team reached out to the White House to set up this meeting because I will work with anyone to make life more affordable for the more than 8.5 million people who call this city home. I will be heading.
Yeah. Very interesting, right? I mean, did I not call this all happening? And then you're seeing it unfold in front of your eyes. So without any further ado, to give his take on this, and there's a lot more here, none other than the founder of the Finest Unfiltered, who's taking, incoming fire online like me about all of this, the one and only John Macari.
Yo, what's up, brother? Yeah, dude, the comedy show, it's just ridiculous, dude. It's honestly, I've been doing nothing but laughing. Since the election, I'm crying, dude, because it's like, it's too funny to watch this, It really is, dude. It's like, it was going to be the end of the world if Zohran Mamdani was elected. New York City was done. All the cops were leaving. All the businesses were running. John Katz was moving to Jersey. He was shutting down his grocery stores. And all this shit was happening. And now all of a sudden, everybody's like, oh, yeah, you know what? He kept Jessica Tisch. Everything's good. So I'm like, wait, what? What?
He's the world of the ceiling. The sky was falling. It was over. The glass ceiling was destroyed. It's like incoming. And this is the big thing that happened. Jessica Tisch will be Mamdani's police commissioner in an unlikely partnership. But as you know, John, her family, who gave like over $1 million to Andrew Cuomo's campaign, I'm hearing they're also sneaking money off into Mamdani's campaign as well. So, it's almost laughable because somebody point to me, Jessica Tisch, a.k.a. the soccer mom, her significant achievement in the New York City Police Department. Can you find me one? Tell me, John. What's a significant achievement?
She has a very good stronghold over the media in New York City. So she gets a lot of friendly pro-Tisch articles, pro-crimes down when it's not the truth. I mean, I love that Eric Adams was in Israel getting an award on anti-Semitism. Like, he got an award for bringing up anti-Semitism over 100%. And there's over 100% rise in anti-Semitic hate crimes in New York City since Eric Adams became the mayor, and he's getting an award for it. Like, we just award failure, and like, so that there's really been no accomplishment other than she is the master of perception management. I'll give her that. I think, she's painted that there's not an exodus in the police department when we're losing over 300 experienced cops every single month. And that's been happening the entire Adams administration. She's painted a nice white brush over that. So that's not happening. And, of course, Sal, we all know crime's down, even though every time you look in the paper, someone's getting thrown in front of the train, slashed in the face, shot. But yeah, crime's at historic lows. Everything's good. Morale's in a good place. The locker room's in a good place. Just don't ask why all the cops are leaving and nobody's taking the job. No quality people are taking the job. Excuse me.
Yeah, don't ask any questions. And also, they count shootings as long as it doesn't hit a human being, it never happened. So that's why crime is down. Crime is down because, shootings don't count unless they hit a human body. So, and it's, look, this is just, what's this today? Man attacks woman with tree branch. He pulls from trash at New York City subway station. This is 3 hours ago. But crime is down. And these aren't isolated incidents, folks. If you remember, the illustrious Deputy Commissioner of Public Safety, who, by the way, he showed his face yesterday for the first time in weeks, Kaz Daughtry. He used to say that only 6 documented felonies happen in all of transit, which is a complete lie. There is no way 6 felonies a day happen in all of transit that are documented. Of course, there's a ton of undocumented crimes, and people don't report it right away out of fear, or, they get home, they got to get off the train, they go to a precinct, then the precinct kicks this around. All of this has been a lie. But yet, every day in this newspaper in New York City, you hear Jessica Tisch. Yeah, look, here's someone who got rocked in the subway. Jessica Tisch says crime is down, and we need to praise her because she's the greatest police commissioner of all time.
Yeah, that dude, it was 2 guys, actually. Same train station. Guy just walks up, slashes him in the face. Busy train station, no big deal. No, crime's down. Crime's completely down. Don't look at what those 6 felonies as 6.5 felonies in New York City Transit are every day, because you know what they are? They're cops being assaulted in New York City Transit. But Jessica Tisch and the New York City Police Department and Eric Adams want you to believe that you're safe. It's just the cops getting assaulted. It's like, come on. Like, if you look at the crime data, it's hysterical, because you see petty larcenies at an all-time high, misdemeanor, right? But when you look at the grand larcenies, they're down. When you look at burglaries, oh yeah, they're down. But criminal trespass, all-time highs. So all of the data points that are easily manipulated in the NYPD, that you could change from a felony to a misdemeanor, that's what's happening. And oftentimes, if you speak to victims, cops don't even want to take reports. They're like, what are we gonna do? The DA, district attorney, there's nothing we could do. And the COs are all on board. And this is coming down from the top. This is next level crime stat manipulation.
Yeah, Eric Sanders in the chat. Shout out to Eric, who had I believe a minor. It's going to be a victory yesterday in court, because if people don't know, there's a little bit of a rift here between 2 people I know that have been on the show, John Scola, obviously, and Eric. And Eric is not representing Winston Faison against one of his clients, but it was a whole thing in court yesterday, and the judge, I understand, was given an undressing to the claims made by John Scola. So, but shout out to Eric for being here. I see in the comments too. Let's see here. I just saw, because Anthony DiMaggio said retaining Tisch is Zohran's first cancellatory olive branch extended to the Jewish community. I think he'll need to do more than this to offset previous remarks. But, Anthony, I'm going to say again, the remarks were coming from certain people. They're not remarks. 33% of the Jewish community voted for Zohran Mamdani. So the rhetoric doesn't match the actual results. That is a fact. And I mean, look, here he is walking with her. And actually, when he comes up, I believe that was Pat Gordon there on the left. When it is Patrick Gordon. When they walk up, right, John? I saw Zohran shake hands with Chief Raul Stevenson, as you know, the party chief. So I don't know if they were talking about going to Jimmy's new gin joint and, acclimating him correctly from Somos,
Yeah, no, he was just walking up there. Those are that's the head of goal there for the Gay Officers Action League. Pat Gordon's head of the NYPD Guardians. There's one of the I think the head of the Muslim organization there, and I don't know who the other female is, but they're walking up with all the fraternal organizations. That's what they're doing. This is how politicized the NYPD and again, all of this stuff was just banter. So, reach an olive branch out to the Jewish community, 70% of young Jewish voters voted for Zohran Mamdani. Like, I mean, no one's buying the media. You know who bought the media? People our age, the Generation X, the boomers. They bought the media and they voted for Andrew Cuomo, and we were 100% right. A vote for Andrew Cuomo was a vote for Zohran Mamdani, and that's exactly what happened. That's exactly. Andrew Cuomo knew he couldn't win. Eric Adams knew he couldn't win. It was always, and when you listen to what Hochul was saying, she set up meetings between Jessica Tisch and Zohran Mamdani over the summer. So they already had this game plan in place over the summer while me and you are arguing that Eric Adams has no shot to win. And everyone's telling us he's the savior in New York City. Jessica Tisch is meeting with Zohran Mamdani, and they're already planning out what their administration is going to be. I mean, so like the whole thing was a game.
It did come out that Jessica Tisch in the summer sat down with Zohran Mamdani, and it was Kathy Hochul that was the one behind the scenes. There it is. It came out. Hochul behind the scenes pitched to keep Tisch as police commissioner. So they had a meeting while we were all talking about Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo. That was what was going on. We told you this, right? We were telling you that it was always a 3-card Mamdani. And whether or not you want to argue that a Republican has no chance and it's, Curtis is not a good candidate, here was a fact. Democrats hate Andrew Cuomo more than they hate Curtis Sliwa. And it's apparent by what happened in this election that the only person that had no shot, because he got crushed in the primary and then crushed again in the general, was Andrew Cuomo, who is the godfather of all the policies that were set by the state, the city, and he is also the godfather of the Working Families Party that gave birth to Zohran Mamdani, because he kept all the parties out in New York State, because it used to be a state where you could run under any party. And then he kept the Working Families Party at that time because they were supporting him. He had 2 lines on every ballot he ran on. And now, conveniently, they decapitated his career. But, John, the sad part here is that you still have the rhetoric. Curtis still needs to run around with security because certain people and a radio station won't stop their crazy banter. And then people like you are being called a Marxist online. I can't stop laughing. I mean, you have anything to say? They're calling you a communist, but yet you're the most conservative guy I know. But you're a Marxist.
It's funny. It's funny because, like the right's calling me a Marxist, but the DSA is retweeting everything they retweet. They label me as the far right. So they're like, the far right says this. So I'm like, well, which one am I? Like, am I far right or am I a Marxist? I just want to know so I know how to like fall into line. But I mean, ultimately, what I think happened here is it was just a huge demolition of the Republican Party in New York. Because think, if those people really cared and they really believed what they were telling you about Zohran Mamdani, and it's clear as day that they didn't believe that. It's clear as day. But what they did is they took conservative, moderate, centrist, and Republican voters, and they got them to vote for a guy that they hate in Andrew Cuomo. So now think if they would have switched that, all of the hundreds of millions of dollars they spent in that campaign, and they would have switched it to Andrew Cuomo's got to get out of this race, and it has to be a 2-person race. Curtis Sliwa would have ended up with 49% of the vote. He would have ultimately lost because there wasn't enough votes to beat Zohran Mamdani. But what would have happened? New York City residents would have woke up for the first time in their lives and said, holy crap, a Republican could be the mayor in New York City. We were within striking distance in this election. And instead, now you think oh, Republican can never win. Curtis Lewa got 7%. It's like, no. Curtis Lewa didn't organically get 7%. The news media and billionaires warped your perception of reality, and they got you to vote for what you hate, and ultimately got you to vote for what you thought you were voting against. So, like, I think it was a huge demolition of the Republican Party.
And this is a reflection too. I said this, unfortunately, my brother in Staten Island, where I lived up until a few years ago. Also in South Brooklyn, which is where I grew up, in Bensonhurst and in Dyker Heights. You voted for Andrew Cuomo. You're Republican, and you need to look in the mirror because you're unprincipled and unfortunately you have no integrity because you listened to someone in D.C. that this whole WWE event, the WrestleMania is over, but Jim Walden and people are still attacking. Like, the WrestleMania is over. They're in the back and they're all laughing right now. Mamdani it was always a 3-car Mamdani. This right here shows you are unprincipled because Republicans need to stick together. See, Democrats, they stick together no matter what. No matter what happens, they always stick together. No matter what, like state, local race, federal race, national election, they always stick together. Here you could tell they voted for Andrew Cuomo. And this guy destroyed Republican family lives, okay? He didn't want you in the state. He wanted to take your Second Amendment away. He said to leave the state. He came after people with their bars. When you had your bar was open during COVID. He sent the sheriffs. He had no problem de Blasio doing what he was doing, even though they had disagreements. He was all for it. He set up different zones, blue zone, orange zone. He crushed the Jewish Orthodox community. And then you reward him by voting for him because Sharia law is coming. John, is Sharia law coming in New York City? Is that what I saw yesterday being implemented by him and Jessica Tisch?
If it is, it's coming by way of a billionaire Muslim mayor who's into transgender surgeries, and it's going to be brought in by a Jewish billionaire heiress, Zionist, who as his police commissioner. I mean, it's laughable with all of their billionaire Jewish donors. So like the whole thing is insane. And again, there was a PAC that was donating heavy, big money to Andrew Cuomo, and guess who else they were giving their money to? Zohran Mamdani. And so like all of this is coming to fruition, and they're literally just throwing it in everyone's face, and people still aren't seeing it. They're like, Curtis Lewa was the spoiler. It's like, dude, what do you? They were always working together. It was always the plan. It was always a 3-car Mamdani, and that was the end of it. All they did is crushed the actual populist movement that was happening in New York City. Because again, think about that. If Curtis Lewa walks away with 49% of the vote, all of the elections go forward have a different tone. The base is invigorated. The Republican Party is invigorated. But the actual Republican GOP in New York they're progressive Democrats. They honestly need to be disbanded at this point. They're all progressive Democrats. The candidates they run are horrendous. And some of them that are there are decent. Very few of them are decent, and they're not well liked by the GOP establishment in New York.
I've also stated that the Manhattan District Attorney's race, which Alvin Bragg won overwhelmingly, my ad. Maud Moran, who was the candidate, she was on your show. She had no support from the GOP, right? None, zero. John Katz with his big fat mouth there. Oh, Alvin Bragg, but you didn't put a dime. In order to change things, you're going to have to spend money. You know why? You have to reach out to that 60% of Democrats and try to flip those votes. And you do it by spending money, knocking on doors, advertising. That's what you're going to have to do. Michael Bloomberg spent $100 million of his own money to get reelected. Yes, he was a Republican in name only. He took the Republican line, but he was running as an independent. He spent his own money. You're going to have to do that to win as a Republican in this deep blue borough. There's no other way around it. So, John Katz, put your money where your mouth is. Otherwise, don't complain about Alvin Bragg winning. He made such a big deal. Another one on his show. Fear-mongering, all this stuff. Meanwhile, he's having a secret grand jury doing the right thing right now against Jeffrey Madry and company. All New York City, all that corruption thing. Don't worry, it's coming to a head because they're having a grand jury downtown about it, and it's Alvin Bragg that's doing it. So he has a problem with him, right? Because Trump had a problem with him, but nobody did anything about that race, John. I find that bizarre. Maud Moran, no support from the GOP.
I mean, you shouldn't find it bizarre. I mean, it's what John Katz does. John Katz is the George Soros of New York City. Like the reason the DSA controls New York City, the reason these far left candidates, these far left progressive Democrats control New York City, and it's a uniparty, it's because of John Catsimatidis. It's because of all of his donations. And let's be honest here, there is no conservative media in New York. Like I listen to Fox News, and there's one guy on there that has an opinion. It's Paul Morrow. Everybody else is just pushing narratives. Everybody, when I look at Newsmax, everybody's pushing narratives. When I look at WABC, everybody's pushing narratives. What did Maud Moran need to win? She just needed people to know her name. That's all she needed. She just needed people to know her name, that there was opposition to Alvin Bragg, and yet we did nothing to push her. They did everything to keep Alvin Bragg's name in the media. They blew up Zohran Mamdani overnight. I mean, they made Zohran Mamdani an international rock star. It wasn't CNN, wasn't MSNBC. It was Fox News. It was Newsmax. It was WABC, 77 WABC. So they're directly to blame. Like people are mad about George Soros, what he does nationwide. Look at what John Catsimatidis is doing in New York City. He's the George Soros in New York City.
I have to agree with you. It's pretty disgusting what he did. Shout out to Rich Raj. He gave $10 to the Sal Greco Show. Thumbs up. Thank you. Then not only thumbs up, Rich. I'm gonna have espresso on you later. So thank you. And I might use Hassan Mo's espresso to make here. Shout out once again to Hassan for sending that over. But you bring up WABC. So last night, John Katz was on Errol Lewis, and this is very interesting. We don't agree sometimes with Errol Lewis's views, but I respect him very much so. He's a highly respected guy. His father used to be in the NYPD. He was I believe, an inspector in housing. So let's hear what John Katz and Errol Lewis are discussing.
Radio station as a morning man who was referred to the mayor-elect as a, quote, animal, as a, quote, jihadist, and as a, quote, terrorist, and said he would be cheering if another 9/11 happened. If we're going to work with this new mayor-elect, your station will have to stop broadcasting hate.
Well,
speech,
right? Let me tell you something. Before, what I said to Mandami or Zohran? I said to him, look, before November 4th, everything was war. There was war. Mm-hmm. After November 5th, let's settle down and forget about the past. Okay. Go forward.
So that
sounds good, doesn't it?
So the hate speech will stop? Is that?
I would not allow any hate speech. It is what it is.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that, John? I know you got a lot.
Well, one, I'll just tell Errol there's no such thing as hate speech, right? But I will say there is horrific speech, and there are bold-faced lies that are being pushed to inflame the voter base, to scare people, and to manipulate voter perception. And that's what John Catsimatidis had his whole entire station engaged in. Greg Kelly, Sid Rosenberg, they were two hand puppets for John Catsimatidis. And what he had them do was manipulate voter perception into believing that Zohran Mamdani isn't an establishment Democrat. He's going to end the New York City Police Department. He's going to end New York City as it sits. And he always knew that at the end of the day, this day would come and he'd be smooching Zohran Mamdani's ass. And so would Greg Kelly. And so will Sid Rosenberg. And you're going to watch. You're going to watch it continually tone down the rhetoric until the time when, like you said, Sal, they're going to be sitting up on his regular guest on the show. His administration's going to be on a regular guest on the show. And you already saw everyone across the media is throwing rose petals at Jessica Tisch's feet. And you're 100% right. What has she really accomplished other than cleaning up the image on the surface level? Nothing.
John, there's corruption all over the police department. In fact, that rumor, that allegation that she's messing around with a certain chief, they're both married, or she's married. So there's nothing but corruption in this department from all angles. She has not cleaned up anything. And there's a secret grand jury going on. You still have cases that are unresolved. Mine being one of them. Yours is another. I mean, the list could go on and on. But corruption flourishes. These people are still there. Hey, that guy with the rubber stamp that was helping Tariq Shepard, remember, with Donlin? He's still there. Benoit is still the chief of personnel. You're doing nothing. She's done nothing. Yet they just fanning flames. She's the greatest. Crime is through the roof. It's through the roof. there's cops out there, one vehicle for an entire platoon. This is like a lot of precincts like this. So 2 cops out there with a sergeant tasked to take care of all the problems. God forbid anything arises. What do you do next? Oh, call the neighboring precinct? Oh, they only have 2 cars. So now 1 car goes there, leaving them with 1 car. So how is this woman being told that she is the greatest police commissioner? And I know who's behind that. I know Greg Kelly's running around saying cops love her. That's false. And Bill Bratton and his cronies that are running around working for her. So these are 2 prominent people, the Ray Kelly and Bratton, and Ray Kelly via his son giving you these false statements of the police department of the cops love Jessica Tisch. Do they love Jessica Tisch, John? Do the cops like getting 60-day vacation hits and having CCRB running rampant all over them? And now soon there's 2 cops that are going to probably lose their jobs soon because she's going to make a decision on them.
Yeah, the media is trying to paint it out that cops are having a party and celebrating that they're keeping Jessica Tisch. And it's actually, the reality is the exact opposite. I mean, I literally have had people tell me I would rather bring back Ed Cabana and the corruption because at least he left us alone and didn't care. I literally, and like, they weren't joking like that. And these are guys that love the job and felt it was a disgrace what was happening under that administration. But they were like, this is bad. Like, she doesn't know what she's doing. She's way too heavy-handed. She's way too involved in everything. And so no, it's not what the media is telling you. Again, it's perception management. It's just this control narrative that she's the greatest thing since sliced bread. She's the Theodore Roosevelt of 2025, and it's a joke, dude. I mean, look at all the stuff that happened to me and Eric. Look what IAB did, and they're all still there. They got rid of the chief. They transferred a few people out and transferred them back in days later because, God forbid, any of those guys had to actually go do police work. You know what I mean? They were like, no, Daddy, I can't do it. Put me in the federal group.
It's so true that they literally, your case, they transferred people out and put them back in like a month later. And then you'll have legit corruption because you easily could prove that mob associate, Jimmy Rodriguez, the self-admitted criminal, threatened you for the police department. Everything's documented, right? Yet, okay, we're going to transfer this guy. We had some bad actors, and we're not going to tell you their names, but the people you interacted with from IAB, they got transferred, only get transferred back in. It's just how do you solve that problem? Other than it's just a dog and pony show, but we have to bow to Jessica Tisch because, she's now the bride to Zohran Mamdani. I don't know how that chief's going to feel in One Police Plaza, but that's what's happening here. I don't know what else to say. I still cannot find a significant achievement for Jessica Tisch as the New York City NYPD Police Commissioner. I don't know what it is. And I know you're right. There ties back to President Trump through Jared Kushner, where I found something from the New Yorker in 03 or 08. They had a big party, and it was all Harvard grads. So Natalie Portman was there. Jared Kushner was the one that threw it, and Jessica Tisch was there. So there are connections back. If people don't want to put it back, I would say Ivanka Trump would be in the middle of it. She seems to be in the middle of all these Democrats. Chelsea Clinton, a little connection. So as much as a father rails against them, his daughter is right in your face with who she hangs out with. And they're all elite Democrats.
That's what it is, bro. And that's what it is. There's no Republican Party. There's no Democratic Party. There's no when you get that high and you're in the billionaire class, you're in a different class of people. We're just a bunch of idiots that watch the circus and think that we have a team and think we're on a team and we're rooting. And meanwhile, we're all being treated like pieces of garbage. I mean, so it's the whole thing's a joke, dude. I mean, honestly, it's the funniest thing to watch. And then, God forbid, you bring it up and you show people what's happening. They come after you. Then I'm the Marxist. Then I'm the far-right extremist. I'm an anti-Semite. I hate Muslims. I'm like, I've been called everything this election cycle. So I just think it's hysterical. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's just there. It is. This is what it's become. And it's I don't know what to say. I feel bad, you know, but what we can't forget about right now is we still have a different person is the mayor of New York City right now. Everybody, Mamdani does not have any authority.
Oh, Mamdani's not the mayor?
No.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did anyone tell Eric Adams?
Yeah. The actual mayor of New York City right now is Eric Adams, who I believe is the mayor of Israel right now. He's the mayor of Uzbekistan right now. He might be the mayor of Saudi Arabia, but he is not acting as the mayor of New York City because he's not in the country. So let's play this video of Eric Adams on Fox. This is Eric Adams.
And I said this before and I say it again. If I was a Jewish New Yorker with children, I would be concerned right now. I would be concerned right now. That's something we should not normalize. And it should not be.
John, who's the mayor, John? Why would he be concerned? He's the mayor.
Well, that's why they're concerned. I mean, they've been concerned under the last 4 years under Eric Adams. I mean, I was in New York the last month, and I was with Jewish New Yorkers who were very concerned, and especially Jewish New Yorkers with kids, and they were very concerned because hate crimes, anti-Semitic hate crimes, are up over 100%. Hate crimes in general up over 100% under Eric Adams. I mean, he's 100% right. Jewish New Yorkers are concerned, and this guy's too busy traveling the world. He thinks it's good. Like he's putting Mamdani the blame on everything on Mamdani, and he's just leaving everything else alone. Like the guy, like, listen, he should have his salary cut off immediately. His salary and his pension as the mayor should be cut off immediately. It's like, dude, you're out looking for a job everywhere across the world. You haven't been here. You never were here. When you were here, you were just stealing. Like, we don't need you anymore. You're good. I mean, look at this. Look at this.
Look at this. Look at this. This guy's traveling all over the world. Like, what is going on here? By the way, just so everyone understands this little chart, you in New York City are paying for this. All of this is taxpayer funded. This isn't him. This isn't some other guy paying like the scam you tried to say last time. You're all paying for his travels going around the world. And when I see these videos online, like an Uber guy was on his bicycle and somebody was like, oh, this is all Mamdani's fault. Guy, Eric Adams is the mayor. That's been going on for 4 years plus, probably going back to Bill de Blasio. How is it the guy that's coming in's fault? He hasn't even put his hand up to say, I'm the mayor of New York City. It's that guy right there, Eric Adams, who's out somewhere. I think he's on his way to Uzbekistan. I don't know where he's going. He's not in New York City. He hasn't been there in weeks. Anti-Semitic attacks, they were going all over. Like, this was a factor. Eric Adams was the mayor. You know what he was doing? He went to Rome, and where else was he? He was partying to the break of dawn at Conza Frito when all chaos was happening in the city. Multiple times. He does how is this Mamdani's fault? I don't get it.
I'll guarantee he flew private. Right, so he didn't fly like the rest of us. He didn't get on his lines. He flew on a private plane, paid for by you guys because he knows no one's looking at him anymore. And you see his entire security team with him. It's like the dude, he literally campaigned and said, I'm not going to have a security team because if New York City's safe, the mayor shouldn't have a security team. I won't have a security team as the mayor. And he has the largest security team in New York City history. And they're not even in New York City with him. They travel the entire world. And then he goes out and he's in Israel and he says, I served you. It's like, all right, well, did you register as a foreign agent? Because last I checked, you're not allowed to serve the foreign nation's interests, whether they're our allies or aren't. But, under the Trump administration, under the DOJ, under Kash Patel and under Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi, it's completely acceptable now to take bribes from foreign nations because, they're just airplane upgrades and it's just a few $100,000 and other things. And he only defrauded New York City taxpayers at about $10 million through fraud using matching funds. And so like Judge Dale Ho the other day, he communicates Mohammed Bahi's sentence. Like basically says, I don't know how you're left holding the bag, so I can't possibly put you in jail because there's another party that should be going to jail with you. But like They let them go, so I can't possibly put in my head. I can't do it, so he lets Mohammed Bahi go because that's what happened. Anyone that aligned themselves with Eric Adams, you get indicted, you get left out to dry. This guy got his pockets lined, wined and dined, and nothing, and then no big deal. And then the Dan Bongino puts out a tweet today saying like public corruption will not be tolerated. Really? You just said that it's perfectly fine a couple of weeks ago.
He actually said it was fine from the beginning of the onset of the Trump administration, because now Mohammed Bahi has a year of home confinement. And you're right. Judge Dale Ho did say it's funny because he's left here holding the bag, and the guy who's directly responsible for it is out in Israel. Someone explain how that even is humanly possible. Because to me, that sounds like there's no justice system. It's a two-tier system for those that are in the circle. You're okay. If you're outside the circle, you're going to feel like every bit of the letter of the law, you're going to feel it, and possibly your entire family. But when others get away, like this guy got away with it, and yet the city is a mess. And the videos you see, Eric Adams is the mayor. I repeat, Eric Adams is still the New York City mayor. So all the crime that's going on, he's the mayor. What is he doing? What has he done for 4 years? Other than travel the world and party to the break of dawn with a bunch of shady characters that he shouldn't even be around with his police department. And by the way, his security team, who's paying them? Because they're NYPD security. You guys are in New York City. Are they putting in for overtime? I want to know that one too, because that's a whole nother story, right?
A lot of overtime.
A lot of overtime with his personal security. So, and of course, we know that they were abducting people to do Bitcoin scams with people that are affiliated with Trump and Eric Adams' security team and Eric Adams' donors. But let's just completely forget about all that. It never happened. This is unbelievable. And this chapter of this book is still being written, and it's not over yet. There's still more to be written in this chapter with Eric Adams. So stay tuned for some of that stuff. And there's more coming out too. I got wind of something else that's about to come out regarding another close crony of Eric Adams. Seems that these people just can't keep their hands to themselves. So be on the lookout for that one from City Hall. You had a tweet up. I had a tweet up before about Ian Vernikoff, right? And I know this is going to bother you because it involves Joe Borelli here, this former Staten Island councilman who's really not even a Republican, right? He says, "We will miss Eric Adams, save this tweet." And here's Ina Vernikoff, absent from her district. You know, some incident happened just yesterday in Coney Island. And of course, I think she's in Miami like she always is. It says, "He's not even gone yet, and I can tell this tweet will age well." What are your thoughts on that little fiasco between the two of them? Two Republicans in name only.
Yeah, so I see one of my big haters in the chat, Richard. So he's asking where I am if I'm in Louisiana. I'm right down the block from the restaurant where those two fake progressive Democrats are at. I'm right down the block in Florida from where they're sitting. Two shill grifter progressive Democrats who pretended to be Republicans for a long time and actually never were. So we'll miss Eric Adams. New York City has yet to see the damage that Eric Adams caused. He imploded the New York City Police Department. He literally sent it into a death spiral. He's continuing to do it. He spent about $15 billion of New York City budget giving it to illegals. But did he really take care of the illegals? Nah. They were just shady contracts for his billionaire friends and his low-life skell friends. He ran New York City with a bunch of skells from his neighborhood. Like, it's literally, and I said it before, it's literally the equivalent of making Paulie and Goodfellas the mayor in New York City, and then making Henry Hill a deputy commissioner, making Tommy DeSimone and a bunch of skelled dirtbags that have no business in our society. He put them in charge of the greatest city in the world. And now it's already being reported that he's leaving Mondani with a $4.7 billion hole. But that ain't nothing yet, because like Sal said, this last chapter is yet to be written, and there's going to be a bunch of chapters about it, because God only knows what's happening right now as we speak. You think they're paying attention to the corruption? You think they're worried about the feds right now? They're not worried about nothing. So God only knows what's happened. God only knows. But we'll find out. We'll find out. It's always going to come to light, and those will be the final chapters in the Crump series. So
the Crump series is. I'm telling you, there's going to be a new one very soon. I understand. You'll see it. It's going to come out. Another person close to him, yet another incident in City Hall, little handsy. It's just, these guys don't. Eric Adams, remember, he said these lawsuits that you hear about with all these claims, you keep hearing the same thing. So, don't be surprised when this latest one comes out. It's just another in the line of, and this guy's already in trouble. It's just like, you haven't seen the last of what kind of damage is going. Oh, by the way, Eric, John, there's a rumor that Eric was going to be the ambassador to Congo, but that's been debunked because it's actually Saudi Arabia, who was just in the White House. Find that odd? I mean, what the hell are they? What is Trump doing with this guy? He's really destroyed the Trump administration, even being affiliated to this guy.
Trump's got a bunch of grifters around him. So, I guess it's just, that's what it is. You want some more grifters around you to eat off and have people eat off you. I don't know. I think, second term in this administration, not looking so hot, bro. It's just not, Benny Johnson describes it as the golden age. It's insane. And Benny Johnson too. He's funny. He's like, he pretends that he's like this independent reporter, and really he's gobbled up by the mainstream. He's not independent. He's narrative pushing, So it's like, and he's trying to anything he does that doesn't make sense. Like all the stuff that's coming out about Epstein. This administration, if they haven't boggled that entire thing and the entire narrative that they tried to push, it was horrendous. I don't know who's running their PR, but they're doing a horrendous job. Horrendous.
Yeah. The whole Epstein thing. Now you're not going to probably get the files because, as you know, they started some kind of investigation just before they voted for everything. So the joke's on all of you again. Just like I said, it's World Wrestling Entertainment, and it's just you guys are you're all the people paying to see this. You're in the arena, and then they go to the back and they laugh at you. Doesn't matter. There's heels, there's baby faces, then they turn on each other in the ring. All they care about is you buy their merchandise and you watch all the pay-per-views. But it's funny because people like Jim Walden still think WrestleMania is going on. And they're still pushing the same narratives from months ago. And you're like, dude, it's over. You go shake hands with Mamdani. We know, you guys are all together. I don't know what he's doing. G.I. Bro says 199 to the Sal Greco Show, says, no espresso, just for men beer. Don't be John. Funny. That's good.
I put some in for Halloween, but I washed it out,
Yeah. Sometimes the grays aren't bad. It's just it shows. With gray hair comes wisdom, they say, right? Yeah. So another thing I want to touch up on is, we know yesterday you were at the hearing. First of all, with the they had a hearing to rehire the all the workers that were terminated, and then Eric Adams said he was going to hire back because of the unvaccinated people were the lepers in New York City. So he said he was going to hire them back. But what really happened? What really happened there, John? You were there for the whole hearing.
So look, obviously Eric Adams hates all the unvaccinated workers, right? He always did. Look, if you submitted a fake vaccine card and you got caught, he let you keep your job. He didn't even punish you.
That's right.
He let you keep your job. Right. So, but he hates that, what happened because of the unvaccinated workers. We formed a coalition, teachers, firefighters, sanitation workers, cops, all of these people that really had no disciplinary history, people that were competent, people that had good names in their community, and they started railing against them. And so what he's doing on the way out is it's really just another humiliation ritual. That's all it is. He wants to give people hope that, we'll let you come back, but you can't get any back pay. And we're not going to restore any of your time. And you're not going to keep any of seniority, but you'll start from where you left off. Now, the problem with that is DCAS has no idea how to do that because this is something that's never been done before. So we had a hearing with DCAS. Shout out to the FDNY, the UFOA, and the UFA. They were there. They testified. They basically had the same exact testimony that I gave and that many others gave. And but there were no police union representatives. There was nobody there, and they don't really know how this is going to work at this point. They're giving a really short window. They don't even want to notify the people that are affected. And I don't know how legitimate it is or how legitimate it isn't. I personally just think it's a humiliation ritual. He wanted to get everyone's wheels to spin. I think he thought that we're all dumb, and 3 years later, we're all going to throw a party like, oh my God, he's letting us go back. And that's not what's happening. So if you were terminated, they're saying you could go back. If you were forced into vesting or retiring, they're saying, no, you voluntarily left on your own. Even if they coerced you to resign, they're saying that you left on your own. You can't come back. The other thing that was made mention at the hearing was that if you're a teacher or a principal, doesn't apply to you. The rule doesn't apply to you. You technically don't fall under DCAS. So, but what DCAS is saying is that they should still reapply anyway. But the DOE could always take you back from the get-go. So they could have took you back 3 years ago. They just didn't want to. So, they didn't even need this rule. It was for more uniform members, people that fall under DCAS to take you back to reapply. So, I mean, for me, I never really had my hopes up because I know that Eric Adams is a piece of garbage and he hates working class New Yorkers, even though he came from them. He turned into a little latte sipping, foo-foo, thinks he's better than everyone. He went from wearing $100 Men's Warehouse suits and driving a BMW to getting driven around and wearing $5,000 Brioni suits. So, I mean, like, this is who he is. He's a phony guy. And again, you can never trust a man that wears an ankle bracelet, and he does. So, I mean, why does he wear that ankle bracelet? I don't know which one of his boyfriends gave it to him, but I don't trust him. You shouldn't trust him either.
So on top of it too, because Hard X Core mentioned it, the police unions were MIA at this hearing.
Yeah, police unions were absolutely MIA. It was me and a few other cops from the NYPD, some that were terminated. And they testified, and they gave their individual stories, but there was zero police union representation. What the police unions were doing yesterday, like Scott Monroe, what he was doing was he's railing against reciprocity for concealed carry permit holders. He's saying that if you have a concealed carry permit in Florida or in Texas, New York City shouldn't honor that because, concealed carry permit holders, they're responsible for about 0.0000001% of the crime that occurs in New York City. So he felt that he'd use his platform for there to kneel and grovel before his Democratic masters instead of actually standing up for his members that were terminated, like Marlin. And there were other detectives other than Marlin. They just haven't came out publicly like Marlin.
That's disgraceful. And he's talking about stuff like that. I'm a little, disturbed by what he's done. I know he was on your show for like 10 minutes and then he ran to be next to John Schell. And, I don't know what he's, that law should actually be one rule for everyone in the United States, because technically speaking, if you're a police officer in one area and you're off duty or you're retired, you should be able to carry in all 50 states. That's one of the rights you have by doing the job that you did, as long as you left in good standing. So I don't know what he's getting at. This guy he's becoming like a Democrat, and shout out to Frankie Palaguach, who's in the chat. He wasn't behind him with what happened to Frankie, right? Frankie, look what happened to him. Where was the union? It's only us and Eric Sanders that's defending him in his trial and his department trial, and now in his lawsuit, which now the FDA is getting involved in. So where's the DEA in that? And they're gonna act like, oh, well, we're there. No, you're not there. They'll be at the end to try to collect crumbs, because that's how this whole operation works, crumbs, and they're not there when you need them. I wasn't there for when my thing happened with a PBA, was nowhere to be found. So I know the feeling, and it's unbelievable they weren't at this hearing, knowing that so many members were affected, some that should have already been reinstated, yet you have this stupid hearing, and it's just lip service, because Eric Adams doesn't want you to know that he's going to go to Congo to go try to be the mayor of Congo or the ambassador to Saudi Arabia. Whatever it is, it's something to get wine-dined and pocket-lined over, and he's flying around the world at New York City's expense, which is absolutely disgraceful. So the last thing I was going to show you was also, there was a big hearing yesterday at City Council for the body-worn camera, right? They want access CCRB to these body-worn cameras. And I guess here's the whole thing that happened yesterday. But as you're telling me, they did not vote on this, right? It was just oral arguments.
Yeah, no, they didn't vote on this yet. This was oral arguments to give the CCRB direct access to NYPD body cameras. So Deputy Commissioner of Legal Matters, Michael Gerber, he testified on behalf of the NYPD. He didn't give all the arguments that why CCRB shouldn't give it. He hung on one point. He said that, well, you know, there's a lot of records get sealed, right? The courts will seal records at times. So he's saying that by law, the NYPD can't turn over any videos that coincide with sealed records. And he's like, until the laws changed, then we could do that. So he basically tells them they can't do it because of the law, but he gives them the remedy that they could do it. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen right away, but I definitely think it's going to happen. And as it sits right now, it's not even an issue because I put a post out the other day. If video doesn't need to be redacted, the CCRB gets it in under 7 days currently. If CCRB needs to be redacted, like if the video needs to be redacted because they need to take out witness information, CI information, you know, victims of rape crimes information, children's information, if that stuff has to be redacted or blurred out or taken out, CCRB gets it with under 30 days. So it's not even an issue at this point. But I think it will eventually. This is coming. Jessica Tisch isn't going to stand up for you on this. They're going to play a little game right now. What you're going to see happen right now is Zohran Mamdani is going to talk about how he's fully funding the CCRB going forward so that there is something that we pointed out on the show recently is that like they're asking for more cases, but they can't even handle the cases they got. So Zohran Mamdani makes mention to that where he says, well, they can't handle the cases they got. So I'm gonna fully fund them to ensure that they're able to handle those cases. And what Jessica Tisch is gonna save you from is that CCRB isn't gonna get final disciplinary authority just yet. It's gonna stay with her. Mark my words on this, by the way. It's going to stay with Jessica Tisch. But again, does it matter? Because she agrees with CCRB 99.9% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And that's going to happen upcoming with a certain couple of cases. And it's funny that you mentioned Michael Gerber said, oh, the sealed records thing, because they accessed sealed records in violation of the court order. In my case, where they accessed Roger Stone's record and a few other people had nothing to do with this case, and they were running people's names, and they were violating the very court order that Michael Gerber says, well, we don't do this, but they did. And they admitted it in their testimony and their deposition in my case where they, we access sealed records. And so just violating court orders, John, doesn't matter because it's the police department. They can do it. So when they want, John, it's a shield like right now. But in my instance, it's a sword. And it's a sword in other cases if they're saying, you're hanging out with a criminal. You're hanging out with a criminal. But, hey, you could be the CEO of aviation if you're running names and doing things for Latin King members, and you'll fall forward and get promoted too. But hey, you know, that's how the cookie crumbles in the New York City Police Department. It's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. But I definitely want to touch up on that because people were asking about the body-worn cameras. I think it's also they're going to get access to it. So, I mean, that'd be another reason why, you know, if you think cops, this is the things that people, they asked us the other day, John. So, well, are cops resigning because Zohran Mamdani got elected mayor, or is it all these other factors, including this, which would now scare the hell out of someone to take this job? Because, hey, they can access your camera on the spot. It'll be a live camera. So, you know, you might go to the bathroom and they're watching you. This is some dweeb in the CCRB that has nothing to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a ridiculous argument, dude. I mean, look, we had Vinny Variano on yesterday, right? And he was talking about all the great times he had in the New York City Police Department. Me and Eric were going back to all the great times we had in the New York City Police Department. And then when you look at those times, what were they? Bill de Blasio, commie Bill de Blasio was our mayor. The city council were far left radicals.
Yep.
We were being demonized in the media. We were being demonized in public. So we hated our mayor. We totally disagree with him. We hated the politics of the city. We totally disagree with him. We were getting trashed on by the public. We were getting trashed on by the media. And none of that happened because it matters more who's in one police plaza. It matters more who your commanding officer is. It matters more who your lieutenant and your sergeant is than it ever matters who's in Gracie Mansion. Who cares if it's the Fort Lee kid or the Ugandan Nepo baby? Doesn't really matter. Like, cops don't traditionally like the mayor anyway. It matters who you work with, and what they're doing is they're upending the entirety of the New York City Police Department. And let's face it, like, look at the legislation the unions are fighting for now. What are they fighting for now? They're fighting to give pension enhancements to traffic agents. If traffic agents become New York City police officers, that's who they want to be police officers. They want people that come to this country, don't really understand the language, don't understand the environment in New York City, and are very obedient, don't know their own rights, and come from subservient governments that they have to be subservient to. So that's the cop that they want. That was another 2021 plan of Eric Adams, where he said, I don't need to worry about the hiring. I don't need to hire kids from Staten Island or kids from Long Island. I'm just going to hire these traffic agents. And now we're seeing it. And now what are they pushing? The unions are pushing legislation. They're calling it in honor of Didar al-Islam, the officer who was slain on Park Avenue. And they're pushing that legislation. Why? Because they want more traffic agents. They want more first-generation immigrants that will be subservient to whatever their Democratic masters tell them, and really not be pretty proactive cops. Because let's face it, traffic agents aren't, they're going to come on the job older. They're not going to be proactive. They don't speak English well. They don't understand the culture well. They don't understand the crime environments well. They don't understand the neighborhoods, and don't understand the other cultures. They don't understand what's happening around them. And, anyone that's mad about it, sorry, it's the damn truth.
And I've tried to point this out, and people saying, oh, well, the police commissioner set, the mayor sets the agenda for the police commissioner. But again, these direct supervisors are the ones that will ultimately decide the fate of the cops, the rank and file, who get overworked, who aren't allowed to transfer to precincts they want to, who get undesirable assignments. How about, oh, I made this arrest. No, you didn't. We're going to give it to this other guy because he needs it. So you're like, what? Now you got to go to court, right? That guy's going to go to court even though he wanted this arrest. Sometimes they go to court. They don't want it. The other guy has to take it for whatever reason. These are things that happen, and they don't want to acknowledge this. It's just going to be, oh, Mamdani's the mayor, or they're going to quit. Nobody quit under Bill de Blasio. Nobody quit when Bloomberg got elected. Nobody quit when Giuliani was. Nobody said, I'm leaving because this mayor, he's going to make my life a living hell. The mayor doesn't even know you exist. He might know who certain people are, but he's not going to know who, the rank and file. You think he knows? You think Zohran Mamdani walks into, like, let's say the first precinct, and he's going to remember Officer Joe in the corner? He doesn't know who you are. He just sees you as another blue face.
No idea. I went to a Greek festival in Staten Island one time. Bill de Blasio shows up. I'm standing there with my daughter playing with her. He beelines right towards me, right? I'm in regular clothes. He doesn't know who the hell I am, but he sees a kid. He wants to have like a baby kissing moment, right? He comes over, he sticks his hand out. I pick up my kid. I look at him and I turn around and I walk away. I was an active cop. He doesn't know who the hell I am. Yeah. I didn't get any repercussions for that. My wife was hysterical laughing. She's like, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen. I was like,
listen, he came over to me. He was in Coney Island, right? He came to Coney Island 2 different times. Both times I was in uniform. I'm right behind the CO. We're walking. And he came over to me. He shook my hand, the CO's hand. He's shaking hands with everybody. What are you going to do? The guy doesn't remember who I am. Yeah, I'm standing right next to him. He's like a little bit taller than me. He's like, I think he was like 6'5". I'm 6'3". But yeah, he doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know who that cop is that he shook. He doesn't remember you. You're not leaving because, oh no, this guy came. People were laughing at him. I had a guy, I'm going to be honest, I had some homeless guy. I said, listen, I give you $1 if you say Trump for president, because it was in like 2016. The guy did it. He ran over there and goes, Trump for president. He was laughing. He doesn't even know who did that. I gave a homeless guy $1 to go say that. Says, just get a reaction from him. And we did it. And it was a joke. And everybody had a good time. But no one's leaving because of the mayor. It's ridiculous. So, John, what are you having tomorrow in the morning? You having the round table what's going to be the discussion about?
Yeah, we're gonna go around about all the stuff that we just talked about. A lot more that's been happening. I mean, dude, the news cycle is insane at this point.
I know.
It literally is. Like I can't even look. I had by like 2:00 yesterday. I had to shut my phone off. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to look at this. I don't want to know. I don't want to talk to anybody. I was like, I don't want to testify at any more hearings. So yeah, I think, it's going to be a good roundtable. We're going to go a little bit in depth into the body camera program. We're definitely going to push it onto the Tisch a lot. So if you're available, jump on with us, it's going to be,
I might have to, because, between now and then, there'll be a whole new, Trotcher news that's going to come. There's always a treasure trove of news, and like every hour with these people, it's like, you're like, no, this didn't just happen. No, it just did. It did. And you're like, no, it did. So it's always something. And last but not least, before, because I know you're busy, we hit over 50,000 subscribers, John. The channel is moving upwards and onwards. And, but I remember when we started, we had a certain person say we're a small podcast. I think that idiot might be in the room still, or whoever he is that he keeps coming. I think I know exactly who it is. I won't reveal the identity, but it's somebody in the police department that works for a very high-end group of people. So if that's the case, that's disgraceful. But what do you have to say to everyone? We got over 50 that we're moving too. We got like 2,000 subscribers in 2 days. So, what do you say to all of that?
Yeah, I think it's amazing, dude. I mean, I think we have 1,500 subscribers just yesterday.
Yeah.
Like it really, like thinking about it, it's like, I never really think about how many people listen to it. And then even when you see the numbers, like at the end of the month, it's a lot, right? It's like in the millions, and you're like, wow, but you never really put that into perspective until you go to New York City. Or even I'm in Florida or I'm in South Carolina and I see people and they're like, hey, what's up? Can we take a picture? And I'm like, I think people are just tired of hearing the nonsense narratives from either side. I mean, listen, we've been wrong about stuff, but we give our honest opinions. And I think even people that don't agree with us, they like to hear opinions from real people, giving their real thoughts. I mean, you go into the locker room or you walked into work that day and you had a conversation with guys. Rare that you all agreed, right? And that's kind of what we're doing. We're doing that. And I think I think Marlon had said it once in the past. He said that authenticity is the currency of the future. Right? Because what are you seeing now? You turn on WABC, go to WABC tweets, watch what's happening. I can't believe what I'm seeing. I see Sid Rosenberg now, and I see Greg Kelly. What they're putting out is they're smearing the Epstein victims now. And I'm like, what do you know about that investigation? What do you know about these girls that you're smearing them? And then Sid had Bill O'Reilly come on, and Bill O'Reilly's smearing the victims too. And he's using Alan Dershowitz's talking points. And I'm like, wait. Alan Dershowitz was Jeffrey Epstein's attorney. Alan Dershowitz has been on Epstein Island. He's not a credible source to speak on this because more than likely, if stuff comes out about it, he's implicated. And people they see right through what's happening. We're going to release the files. Oh, no, we're not going to release the files. Oh, there's no victims. Oh, they're all victims now. Oh, I have the files on my desk. Oh, there's no files again. Oh, it's a hoax. Now it's, oh, yeah, we're going to release it. Oh, no, wait, we can't. There's a new investigation that just came up. And what you see is you see all these news stations flip-flopping with all of those narratives, right? Where we're always just saying, we just stay true to our original thought. Hey, look, this is what I think. I don't know if I'm right, but this is what I think about it. And I think that's why the channel does well. You have a lot of different voices. We don't always agree. We bring a lot of different topics up, and I think that's why it is. I think Sal Greco Show is unbelievable. New York's finest retired unfiltered podcast is doing great. The executive perspective's flying, 10-4 Tavern. And I think as time goes on, we're going to continue to build, have more shows, and I think the numbers are going to continue to rise until we're going to be rivaling with the big boys. And I think we're not too far from that.
Yeah. Modern Samurai, $20 to the Sal Greco Show. Congrats. Huge accomplishment. No, thank you. You know why? I see you're always in and you're very active and you're also on top of things. I like people that are, this crowd in my show, I like people that are, will say they have to stay well informed and they like technical. the technicality of things, because some people don't, which is where you get this low information crowd, and that's what I like here. And I think we have a lot of people like that, especially to support the channel too. Ricky Freedom USA says Sid Rosenberg has a face that only a radio could love. Sleepy Joe said $2 to the Sal Greco Show. Says John just notified Sal for OT. Yeah, we got if that round table, look, we do that, and I tell you, I think we did a segment a couple of weeks ago in regards to Sid Rosenberg, and it's all coming true. That's the best part. It's like I don't listen. I used to talk to Sid here and there. I don't know what they're doing, but I see this and I tell you what's coming, and it happens. I don't want to sound like Alex Jones. I know what I'm doing. I tell you how it is, and then it happens, and then you're like, well, how does he know? I'm telling you, I don't talk to these guys at WABC. We haven't seen eye to eye in a long time. They love to give, well, not every host, but like we'll say the ring, the John Katz ring. They love Eric Adams. They love a certain disgraced chief of department. I think he got wheeled in because his ankle really must hurt. I mean, he went 3/4 on that. They give Kaz Daughtry. But if you do that, that's fine. But then you have to have the opposing voice of what they're saying on, and that's not what they're doing, and they don't address anything, and they have Jessica Tisch on, and everybody loves her when it's clearly not the fact. And that's why I think people are flocking to us, because they want the real news and what's really happening, instead of being gaslit by a bunch of people that told you Sharia law was coming if Andrew Cuomo wasn't elected mayor. And then they get asked from Merrill Lewis, no hate speech, or he's going to let that guy run loose in the morning. It doesn't matter. You know why? Because they make the little bit of revenue advertising they get it on that morning show. So I expect that to continue all the way until there'll be another hoodwink by the president when they have this meeting. And then slowly, I expect by mid-December, I think me and Marlon was saying, we expect Zohran Mamdani to be on WABC radio at some point, some host. But I know he'll be on in the morning. You know that. We already know. And I can't wait for that one, John. I'm the #1 rated show. You know what happened? Trump, he's his commie. He's a commie. So I know I call him a jihadist, but he's on the show. He's the mayor. He's the mayor, and I'm the #1 rated show. And then as he's talking, he's going to say, my good friend, Zohran, Zoe the man. And it's all WWE because he was calling him a jihadist. So now you know how this works. I'm not Paul Heyman, but John's not John Cena. It's a joke what we're saying. But everyone getting played. It's unbelievable.
I was on Greg Kelly's radio show on WABC a few months ago, and all he wanted to talk about was Andrew Cuomo, right? And he was like pinning things on Andrew Cuomo that weren't Andrew Cuomo. So I was like, I don't like Andrew Cuomo. I know a lot about Andrew Cuomo. So I'm talking all the talking points I know about Andrew Cuomo, but I had to correct him a few times. I'm like, that was Eric Adams. That was Bill de Blasio. That's not really the governor's purview, blah, blah, blah. But he was destroying Andrew Cuomo is how his reign as governor. And then only a few weeks later, he's praising Andrew Cuomo, and he's telling you guys to vote for him. I'm like, and then I'm like, I never went back. I was lazy. I had a lot of stuff going on that day, so I never recorded the episode. So then I go back. I'm like, you know what? I want to replay that episode because I'm gonna put that out because that was ridiculous. It's off WA. I was like, yeah, that's convenient. I'm like, that's good. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But he's another guy. I think he likes to use a lot of fake handles, and that's all right, Greg. It's okay. Yeah, and another thing, any of my X or Instagram handles, I've been getting fake account after fake account almost every day. If anybody contacts you saying me, it's not me. I give my own cell phone number. I only have those 2 accounts. I don't have any other accounts. If it doesn't, just my name. I think I have 17,000 followers on each. Like, if it's you'll know if it's me. It's not me. If anyone's hitting you up with a stock scam or send them money, it's not me because I don't do that. So I don't ask anybody for anything.
That's crazy. So you have a bunch of fake, you got a bunch of Fugazi Macaris out there running around trying to, and then they ask for things. But people should know that little blue check mark where people used to laugh about that. That's the only way you know that's who the person is, because you could have a bunch of phonies out there running around. Just like I think John has, like, he's on every social media platform. I'm not on Facebook and I'm not on LinkedIn, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm on there. There's some phony out there, but I've never had those. I'm only on Instagram, TikTok, the YouTube with Sal Greco Show segments, and X, and also Truth Social, which that's the platform to only one person. So nothing goes viral. The only one person does. It's like everybody. Only one person it matters. It's fun. I see this. We have the court jester in here that's nonstop and saying stupid things. But this one I'm gonna mention because he says, Roger Stone, your mentor, works at the radio station, so it makes sense that he feeds you information like you did when you were a cop. Juju, I would hope. I mean, I know who you work for. I know your real name. If we go to court, you're never going to find anything that says anything anywhere of me helping Roger Stone with anything. By the way, and I didn't know Roger Stone until 2018. The police department, who did they did an investigation, but used illegal things. They looked me up and down, all my information, and they probably went into Roger's phone too because they didn't contact the FBI. We're working on finding all who the names are, and they had nothing. You have nothing. You're a lowlife, in fact, and I might just reveal who the hell you really are, because I don't know what you're doing on every single show, parroting the same things. And unless you're getting paid, I don't know who's going to pay you now, because your boy's gone. Your other boy is losing his job soon. He finally reemerged yesterday. You can look it up on X. We saw a Kaz Daughtry sighting somewhere. What are you going to do? Take a long walk off a short pier December 31st? I mean, I feel sorry for you. But you are so far off. But, you're a low information guy. I don't expect anything, And you're also a hateful guy. And there's a lot that you posted, too. You have a second account. Yeah, just listen. Don't rock a boat that you can't win this one. So if you keep twisting, we'll say this: you keep twisting my balls, I'm going to reveal your full name. So you better cut it out. I've had enough of you on this stuff. We could play games, but it's not funny. In fact, you're the guy that's going to lose your job, not me, Mr. New York City Police Department Lieutenant. So be careful. All right. So, John, any last words?
Nah, man, it's been fun. Always a pleasure. I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna enjoy the comedy show that's gonna come out of Eric Adams. We're gonna watch Where in the World is Eric Adams. We'll find out later today. And I appreciate it, bro. Appreciate you having me on, and I hope you're able to join us tomorrow. So
yeah, I'll try to come on, and we'll see what happens from here to then, because I'm sure there'll be another article about how great Jessica Tisch is. She's such a wonderful human being, and she's the end all be all of law enforcement with no law enforcement experience other than, what does she do again? Surveillance. She's the surveillance state queen. That's it.
Oh, and one more thing. YouTube actually shows now like who are the number one people that communicate in the chat. And the guy that's always here every day that says nobody's listening to us, he's always number one.
Yeah, he's number one.
He's always number one. So
yeah,
and he has multiple accounts, and like they always get there. So it's insane, bro.
Yeah. The lieutenant. Yeah,
that guy. So maybe we'll make a meme about him. We'll start dropping little hints.
I could give you his real X account too. He thinks he thinks people don't have screenshots. Buddy, I've been on you for a long time. You're messing with the wrong guy, my friend.
Yeah.
I should have been in Intel, but you know what? I just stayed the course. There's a lot of things you don't really want. You keep rocking the boat though. You think things are a joke. It's not. Go run back to your friend John Shell. His name is going to be in another lawsuit soon. Don't worry. So yeah, I don't want to preview.
John Shell's going to be right there with him, like he is with all the cops that are going to get indicted for everything else.
Yeah,
he's going to be in the back, in the way back.
Yeah, but this guy will be running to his little exclusive unit that he thinks we don't know about.
Yeah.
So, but I'll definitely see you in the morning, and we'll stay in touch. I'm sure something's going to happen today. There's going to be more news.
All right, guys. Have
a good one, John. Yeah. So, yeah, here's the thing. John took a lot of flack in the last couple of days with this, you're a Marxist and stuff. And you guys, some of these people are crazy. They're saying crazy stuff. Yeah, I seen the comments. The lieutenant there got a little quiet. He doesn't want his name revealed. So just stay quiet. I'm not here. I'm not a guy that says anything, but when I know I got someone, I know I got you. And you got to be careful because I'll be honest, that guy crossed the line with someone else. See, here's how life works. If you keep pushing buttons, you got to be careful whose button you push, because that nobody that you think you're pushing around is somebody, and they know somebody, and that somebody then does a little bit on you. And then you get torched because you thought something that you didn't know. You have to be respectful and humble in life. And that's the secret of life, is staying humble and having respect. I may not like certain people, and I have, for all, you know, but they deserve it. But I will still respect your little position. You're the New York City mayor. Okay, we'll respect that position. As a human being, you're a horrible human being, but you were still the New York City mayor. And I respect that. So where's the producer? Where's Jack?
I was hiding in a cave. No, but in all seriousness, when it comes to media credibility, there is no reason on planet Earth that anybody should be trusting WABC or Fox News, even for that matter, after they brainwashed everyone and deceived them into believing that false information was true during the mayoral election. And WABC, because they're such a morally and ethically sound radio station, decided to create their own ethics board. Wow, what a great idea. But let's take a look at the resume of some of the people on this panel.
Look at that guy on the left.
Yeah, just let's go through everyone here. So the guy all the way on the left, John Shell, shot and killed someone, lied about it, and then cost taxpayers $2.5 million to cover the lawsuit settlement.
Did you forget he cheated on his taxes before he did that?
Cheated on his taxes, was refereeing little kid games at Chelsea Piers because he knew that he wasn't ever going to be able to make it to the NBA. Conversation for another day. The guy next to him, though, David Patterson, was caught giving a $4,500 slot machine license to this very shady racetrack in Queens. I'm blanking on the name of it.
Yeah,
also was in
Tier 3. Mr. Tier 3, Jack.
Mr. Tier 3. He was also involved in a number of really shady schemes. There was a member of his staff who sexually abused someone, and he pressured the person to drop the accusations. Just really bad person. All right, next up, we have John Katzimatidis, who rationalized calling Zohran Mamdani the frat boy from SUNY Albany, who was the pledge master at Sigma Chi, a month before he was elected to the assembly. He made him into this terrorist, and he said it was okay because they were having fun before the election. The guy to his right, Dominic Carter, had the police called to his home because he was allegedly abusing his wife, ultimately was fired from New York 1. Like, in the same way that I would not have gone to the late O.J. Simpson to ask for marriage advice, and please excuse me for that joke for everyone who was impacted by what he did, you can't be having these people on this ethics commission telling you how you should be running a media organization. It's totally unethical and immoral, and it can't be a toxic relationship where you come back around to them for more information after they lied to you the first time around in such an extreme manner.
Yeah, that crew, man, you know, I have a lot of respect for Dominic Carter, but like what he was saying to Curtis Sliwa, look, I know they're protecting their paycheck, but you cross a line that once you go past it, there's a point of no return. I don't know why these things are coming up, because you see that the star.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on that after the show, try and get it fixed for tomorrow. Earlier on, everyone's YouTube handle was showing up, but now it's like a different @ thing with all of the numbers after people's names. I think it might have flipped from the username to like,
yeah, because I know who just gave 99 cents for a super sticker. Their name is not Fox, but it says showing up as that. See?
Yeah.
Shout out.
Usually the name is Fox, but the -K5P is something new because we're having some technological issues on YouTube. But it's okay, everyone. We're gonna get everything fixed. But while we were on the air a little while ago, my favorite New York City councilwoman put out another tweet. Tomorrow, real Donald Trump will school Zohran Mamdani. The public should be able to watch. So she's pretty much acknowledging that this is real life WWE. But spoiler alert, Ina, if people got to hear and see what that conversation looked like, both support bases would be totally disenchanted with their so-called deity, right? Because we'd all learn that Mamdani and Trump actually want to form a long-lasting relationship and a friendship where they can do business with one another in a way that kind of benefits New York City residents, but actually benefits the billionaires who are supporting them a whole lot more.
It's funny. Lone Silencer says, I could find more integrity. Oh, I guess it's funny. I could find more integrity in a drug deal in Alapata or Hialeah than that ethics board. Yeah, that's a little. Yeah, listen, when you have that killer on the left side already, and by the way, in the right, Suzanne Miller does the real estate for John. I mean, it's totally. That's like the editorial board in WABC Radio. They endorse someone. I'm like, are you kidding me? You mean John Katz?
Yeah, these are literally some of the worst people on planet Earth, and they don't care about New Yorkers at all when they're commuting to their mansions in Connecticut or Westchester, Long Island, wherever they may live. They're not worrying about you, yet they're trying to convince you, after drumming up this nonsense about Mamdani being a terrorist, a jihadist, an accidental threat to New York City, bad things are going to happen.
Oh yeah,
about COVID. It's like, no, just kidding, guys. That was all for show. Now that the election's over, we're gonna just have fun again. Like we were just having fun before, but now we're gonna revert back to being kind of okay people. And you're gonna listen to us because you listened to us before. So even though we fed you a false narrative then, we're actually gonna be honest this time around. But don't worry, because even though you might be questioning our credibility, we're still morally okay people. Just take that at face value. Yeah, even though our track records don't say that's the case.
I can't believe what they're doing. I see. I guess I'm going to say their name on it. I don't think, but Rafael Martinez is $10 to the Sal Greco Show. Says, congratulations on the 50K. I started when you guys were at 10K. Shout out to you. It's people like you that have made this grow, and it's all your support and stuff. And like, listen, we're going to put up things. You're going to be able to buy things soon. It's just, it takes a lot, you know. When you guys send in money or donate things, it's how you got to pay to have that on your websites and stuff. Same thing with, like, when I say myfreedomcard.com/the Sal Greco Show, that stuff helps. That we're trying to do that so you could buy things and you could be more, interactive with us, and we could do things off the website and stuff, because it's not easy, as you could tell. I don't know what's going on with YouTube today, but if you were broadcasting on multiple different things all the time, and things just take money and time, and it's not easy when you don't have the Coca-Colas, the Pepsis, and all these big advertisers and sponsors, because they like the WABCs, which I don't know if they're making money or not, but that's what they like, and they think that people actually listen. I don't know what's going on with that, but like, that's what we all do. And Ron Laces in the chat. He said, "Good afternoon from Texas. What did I miss with Juju?" Well, Ron, Juju, I'm not going to say his name yet. We'll see if this guy fixes his act. But I got a pretty I'm pretty sure I know who this person is. And if they are giving their account to other people to use, then it would make sense because of the unit this person's involved in. But it is a lieutenant. They were a sergeant. I mean, I have the pictures. I can show you who the person is. But I can only take so much. I'm so sick of this person and every single show saying the same things. Tell who you are, Lieutenant blank. Say who you are, because are you speaking for the department, or who are you speaking for? You keep coming on here. Listen, I'm all, First Amendment. Oh, that's good. But who are you? You're hiding. Don't hide behind that little moniker with that stupid picture you with that little jacket, because you should see yourself in uniform, actually. So that's as much as I want to say. And now either you ship up or shape out. That's how they would tell us. Ultra Fantastical Worldwide says $4.99. The Sal Greco Show. Congrats to all. Keep it going. No, it's really congratulations to you. You're the reason that we're big. That we're getting bigger. It's all of you. If without you, we're all nothing. And remember, we started on what? I guess we were. Well, that lieutenant actually would say, "You're a small podcast." He works in a small unit, actually.
We're not like Mr. Clean with his Botox injections, coattailing off of a billionaire. I'm such a good host that I have a billionaire bankrolling me for the highest morning show on the planet. I'm going to get the mayor of New York City on because I'm such a cool guy, and billionaires want to fund me. They want to tell me what to say, and I'm just going to say it. I'm not going to question nothing because I'm such a big shot and I'm such a big man. I'm going to be man next. Watch me in 4 years. I'm going to be leading New York City. No more jihadists. Yeah, no, we're not as big as that guy, but we're trying, and we're gradually getting there.
He thinks he's going to be the mayor. That's laughable, because you know something, if he thinks he's going to be mayor, he's going to have a rude awakening when you see what happens in the governor's race. Which, by the way, I saw some of the polls. Well, remember, Polymarket is gospel now. Nothing that does not look good for any Republican running in New York State.
No, definitely not. And the Democratic establishment in New York State is also getting a lot stronger right now with the allegiance between Kathy Hochul and Zohran Mamdani growing by the day. I mean, obviously, Hochul is doing all the legislative work up in Albany because Mamdani's track record as a backbench assemblyman who did absolutely nothing wasn't exactly satisfactory. Didn't even propose any bills related to any of his policy proposals. So he needs people in City Hall and up in Albany to hold his hand while he's parading around the TV cameras and talking to people and meeting with President Trump in Washington. Speaking of President Trump, though, this is where things get really interesting with Eric Adams, because Trump met with Mohammed bin Salman earlier this week. And it's widely known. I mean, bin Salman is not exactly the most ethically and morally sound human being. I mean, he imprisoned his own uncle. He beat his wife up. He killed a journalist, Jamal Khashoggi, which he was asked about yesterday. But the point here is he's trying to diversify Saudi Arabia's financial investment portfolio so they can become more like Dubai, because right now they're way too reliant on oil as means of income. And eventually the oil supply is going to run out, so they need to look to some other industries to try and get money for the country. And that's where Eric Adams really comes in, because Adams knows a lot of
I can already tell what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say.
Adams knows all of these billionaires, the real estate moguls, and it's almost scary to think that a partnership between bin Salman and Adams is on the horizon, to the point where Adams could be living in Saudi Arabia as a diplomat. It's crazy how he's like Harry the Houdini, disappearing and reappearing with a new profile. Like, he's going to go to Saudi Arabia and say, I was the mayor of New York City. I fixed everything. They didn't appreciate me enough, but now they're going to appreciate me here. And he's going to do all these shady backroom deals for Trump, and more importantly, Trump's family business, which Trump was in denial about. He said, oh, my family does business with Saudi Arabia. They could be doing more, but they're not doing a lot, and I'm not involved in any of it. He was very highly defensive, I might add. But there's a definite connection between him and Eric Adams, and there's reason to believe that they could be doing business together before soon.
Yeah, and Special Hagen said MBS oversaw that journalist being assassinated, chopped up, and being carried out of the Saudi embassy in Turkey. Trump described the situation as things happen, and dude had lots of enemies. That is, I don't know why the president would say that. Anthony DiMaggio says Mike Spano has apparently been removed from Hochul's lieutenant governor shortlist. Mamdani's election has already accomplished one spectacular thing for New York.
Just to piggyback off of Special Hagen's point for a moment. MBS actually admitted that he ordered the murder of the journalist, while saying that he regretted it and has taken strict measures to make sure nothing happens like that ever again. But how do we, again, similar to John Catsimatidis, who said he's back to being a morally and ethically sound human being, how do we take MBS's word at face value when he's been so ruthless and reckless and his leadership styles? And the craziest part about all of this is it was the Trump administration and his CIA which concluded that MBS committed a human rights violation back in 2017. Yet 8 years later, they're hanging out like they're best friends and want to do business together again. So it goes to show that business interests and money talks in this industry, and BS walks, because it's like that never even happened based on the previous meeting.
Yeah. Again, Eric Adams will be representing Saudi Arabia very well. He wants to be the ambassador to Congo or the mayor of Congo. That would be hysterical. But obviously, where he goes, he's always going to look for his crumbs. So that's the only reason he'd be taking that job. It's very sad the Trump administration even talking to this guy because Trump talking to Eric at all. That's just ridiculous. The guy is a criminal, and it's only going to destroy, any kind of if you had any semblance of anything normal in the Trump administration with Eric Adams around, you're going to be like, yeah, no, and it just no. How can you keep anything that's credible? You have the least credible human being in politics in your administration now. Like what? So and it shows you could commit crimes and he'll bring you in. I mean, that's another thing. I mean, Democrats are they're gonna have a lot of fun with Trump come next year to run for office. On the way out, you got anything else, Jack? And I know tomorrow we'll have the Finest Unfiltered in the morning, so we'll be on with the roundtable.
Yeah, just one final parting point with Trump is he's kind of tiptoeing on eggshells right now, but he has to be a lot more careful because if the Congress flips over to a Democratic majority in 2026, there's going to be investigations into both him and his family. And it's like the number of receipts that are disfavorable towards him are starting to add up between the Epstein files, the 50-year mortgage, the meeting with MBS and how they want to do business together, the association with Eric Adams. It's scary because he's giving more ammunition to the people who could possibly be prosecuting him when it's all said and done. And he doesn't seem to have the awareness that he's actively doing this. There's obviously an invincibility that comes with being the president. And Donald Trump is someone who got impeached and arrested and all this other stuff, has another level of it, understandably so, especially psychologically speaking. But you got to be more careful because this could be the downfall not only of you, but also your family. Trump's 80 years old at this point. So, he's not going to live 50 more years. But for his family members, this could really do a whole lot of damage to the Trump organization.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see what he does. I don't know what he's going to do. Man, it's just so much going on. Trump, I don't know what he's doing with Eric Adams, really. This guy is just, I think as much as I've revealed, you wonder, like, what's going on? I got one last comment here. So it's coming from Nate H. It's funny because they always say these crazy things. Sal, just admit you never checked the RMP oil and they got you. I'm going to make you laugh, but I believe when I was in the 60th precinct, and it's funny because Lieutenant Mariano at that time was Sergeant Mariano. I think he would remember this incident too. They found 2 little bags of marijuana after 2 of the SNU guys or something, I think, had arrested someone. So they actually went back and had to say they didn't check the car. And they did get a command discipline. I know it's a stupid thing, but it's because it fell out of the guy's pocket when he was in handcuffs or whatever. And they didn't check the car when they brought the guy in because it was all kinds of chaos. So there is someone that got a hit in the 60th precinct, but that's for nonsense. For me, that's BS. There's so much going on. And the car goes to the next guy. But they got it because they forgot to check the car and they had to charge him with something. But it happened in those years. Vinny Ryan was a sergeant there too. But that's the closest thing, and it wasn't me. So, but it's funny you mentioned that. Just give you a funny an old time story from this good old 6-0. Yeah, it's Fox says the 6-0 is disgusting. That's my precinct where I live. Yeah, I worked there for almost 8 years. It's probably the best time of my career because it was a lot of fun working in a boardwalk and dealing with people, but not the same anymore. But, I wish you all a great weekend coming forward. I will definitely be back next week on Tuesday. We won't have the show on Thursday because it's Thanksgiving, obviously, but we'll be back on Tuesday, and I might have something cooked up good and a really good guest for you all. I just think today was good with John. So you could, for anyone that keeps calling him a Marxist, I think he laid out why that's really stupid of you to say that because he's anything but that. But thanks for John for coming on. I know he was busy today, and I just want him to address all that stuff so everyone, we're on the same page here because we're on top of everything, the CCRB, what goes on in the police department, Jessica Tisch, and it's all national news because New York City is the biggest city in the world. And the NYPD, what happens there is going to happen to your police department, like Chicago, like LA, like in Houston, like in Miami. It's the guinea pig because it's the very top of the tier. So what they do, they're going to bring to they're going to implement it next. So it's always important, I believe, to reveal what's going on, whether it's a whistleblower, a lawsuit, or information we know. I see the jester, the lieutenant there, doesn't want to say anything, but hey, keep working in that unit, guy. I'm sure they're thrilled knowing that you just outed all of them by nonstop bombarding me every single show. You know what they say, you mess with the bull, you'll get the horns. So thank you all for tuning in. If you can, again, like, share, and subscribe. Same on Rumble and on X. Like and repost, share it out with those in that low information bubble. myfreedomcart.com/Sal Greco Show. Shop with people that support law enforcement, that actually have good deals, and also you'll be saving money while not wasting time in grocery shopping with your 2 kids running around. You can't even keep track of where they are, and you got to pull things out of the aisle, and then you got to log them in your car and log them out. So you don't have to do that anymore. You can just order things online and have that come to you directly. And you shop with a Patriot company that supports the rank and file. That's the most important thing, rank and file law enforcement, not just the upper echelon, because, those guys have a lot going on. And also Free Spoke. So thank you all for tuning in again. I'll see you tomorrow on the Finance Unfiltered. And as far as the Sal Greco Show, we'll see you on Tuesday. Until then, I'm signing off from sunny South Florida, because as you know, it's a sunny place for shady people. Now, I know you're tired of searching on the web for things and not getting the results you're looking for. I have something for you. Free Spoke. Free Spoke is a search engine that is all about authenticity rather than agendas. Labels, media bias, no intrusions, or data leaking, or your data being taken from you. Porn free, none of those ads, unlimited, unbiased AI, deep dive podcast searching, and you can get it by going to freespoke.app.link/Greco. Use the same link to get a 35% discount on your premium subscription. What are you waiting for, folks? This is the way of the future. Free Spoke.
What I'm asking New Yorkers for is to look back at all the things I've done as a deputy commissioner for operations, the assistant as assistant commissioner, and my time as a not only as a New Yorker but as a police officer. I get stuff done.
Listen, there was a book that came out that Jasmine Ray wrote, and in the Daily News today, it was stated that there was a sexual action that happened in Borough Hall to be put in that book. And it wasn't. You're a dark, sick person, man. You know that? You're a dark, sick person. Your name was on the byline. And there's some of you that have been covering me. You guys could part. Let me do this. Y'all could depart. Some of you have been covering me for 3.5 years. Some of you are so sick and dark, and you're the leader of that. You're one of the most dark writers that I've ever seen in this city. And your personal sick vendetta and the sickness of how you think of over-sexualizing a Black man, that in the book is stated that there was a sexual action in Borough Hall. That was never in the book. But that's typical of the sickness and the darkness of your sick mind. You're one of the sickest reporters I know. Go to the next question. You're a sick person.